Hi guys, today we are going to reveal all the facts about one of the most famous movies of all time, Indiana Jones, The Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's get right into it. Snakes or lizards? Many of the snakes in the Well of Souls are not snakes, but instead legless lizards. Look for the ear holes, which snakes lack. Indy's hat. When Indy's hat was made, the brim was shaped to not only cover his eyes for protection, but to help hide faces when stunt doubles were being used. Just shoot him. The famous scene in which Indy shoots a marauding and flamboyant swordsman was not in the original script. Harrison Ford was supposed to use his whip to get the sword out of his attacker's hands, but the food poisoning that he and the rest of the crew had gotten made him too sick to perform the stunt. After several unsuccessful tries, Ford suggested, quote, shooting the sucker. Steven Spielberg immediately took him up on the idea, and the scene was successfully filmed. Is Indiana Jones a playboy? When Brody first goes to Indy's house to discuss the mission, Jones is dressed the way he is because he is entertaining a young woman in his bedroom. The script originally planned to show her before moving to the next scene, to give Indy a more worldly persona, like James Bond. However, her appearance was cut, as Steven Spielberg thought that being a playboy did not fit Indy's character. How did Indiana Jones' Raiders of the Lost Ark come to be? Traditionally, when one of his films is about to open, George Lucas goes on vacation to get away from all the hoopla. As Star Wars was just about to open, Lucas went to Hawaii, where he was joined by Steven Spielberg. When the grosses for Lucas's film came in, and it was clear that it was going to be a hit, Lucas relaxed and was able to discuss other topics with his friend. At this point, Spielberg confessed that he always wanted to direct a James Bond film, to which Lucas replied he had a much better idea, an adventure movie called Raiders of the Lost Ark. The conversation happened while the two were making a sandcastle. After the trip, they got together and developed the script with Lawrence Kasdan. Food poisoning. During filming in Tunisia, nearly everyone in the cast and crew got sick, except for director Steven Spielberg. It is thought that he avoided the illness by eating only the food he'd brought with him. Plenty of cans of SpaghettiOs. Injury on set. The out-of-control airplane actually ran over Harrison Ford's knee, tearing a ligament in his left leg. Luckily for him, the heat had turned the rubber tires soft, so it did not crush the bone. Rather than submit to Tunisian healthcare, Ford had his knee wrapped in ice and carried on. The Library of Congress. In 1999, Raiders of the Lost Ark was added to the National Film Registry by the United States Library of Congress. It is the only Indiana Jones film to have been inducted. Films are chosen for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Alfred Molina's first role. This movie is Alfred Molina's first credited screen role. His first scene on his first day of filming involved being covered in tarantulas. Indiana Jones rejected. Despite having the dream team of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg behind the film, it was initially turned down by every studio in Hollywood. Only after much persuasion did Paramount agree to do it. Shooting in Tunisia. Shooting in Tunisia proved to be so stressful and so hot that Steven Spielberg managed to compress a 6-week shoot into 4.5 weeks. This helped the production complete principal photography, 12 days ahead of schedule. Who could have played Indiana Jones? Actors considered for the role of Indiana Jones included Sam Elliott, Jeff Bridges, Christopher Guest, Sam Shepard, David Hasselhoff, and Tom Selleck. Harrison Ford was cast less than 3 weeks before principal photography began. Harrison Ford on doing his own stunts. Harrison Ford did most of the stunt work himself, including the scene in which he is getting dragged behind the truck. He sustained several bruised ribs for the stunt, but later said, quote, "If the stunt was dangerous, we wouldn't have done it." More facts. This was 1981's biggest grossing film by a wide margin. The sacred idol of the Hovitos, of which Dr. Jones takes possession at the beginning of the film, is apparently a fertility goddess. It is a molten image of a woman squatting down and giving birth. The spirit effects at the climax were achieved by shooting mannequins underwater in slow motion through a fuzzy lens to achieve an ethereal quality. This is the only Indiana Jones film to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. The truck chase sequence took 5 weeks to film for only 6 minutes of screen time. Over 30 bullwhips were supplied for the Indiana Jones franchise, ranging from 6 feet to 16 feet in length. Sam Neill was considered for the role of Indiana Jones. He would eventually play a character with an iconic hat in a Spielberg-directed movie, Alan Grant in Jurassic Park of 1993. The bar fight sequence took nearly 2 weeks to film. Spielberg has said that he considers it the most perfect film of the series. He never wanted to modify it or change anything about it. After its home videotape release in late 1982, this film had the highest number of rentals per unit on the Betamax format, a record that it held until Beverly Hills Cop was released for home rental in late 1984. There you have it, guys. All the most interesting facts about this movie. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know what you think about this movie in the comments below. Stay tuned for our next video. Thank you for watching.